Charlotte bursts into Haruto's room without knocking, interrupting his surveillance of the castle. Annoyed, Haruto scolds her for not respecting his privacy. However, he soon realizes that Charlotte has been stuck by his side ever since she learned he is actually a hero, just like when she thought he was a villain. Surprisingly, Haruto enjoys having her around because it allows him to pet her whenever he wants. Charlotte notices the holographic video footage behind Haruto and asks about the sorcery involved. Haruto explains that he uses surveillance magic to keep an eye on everything, even though such magic doesn't exist in their world. To appease Charlotte's curiosity, Haruto lies and claims it's a rare and ancient form of magic. Speaking of ancient magic, Haruto admits to telling a similar lie to his father, Gold, about studying ancient and lost magic. Intrigued by the idea, Charlotte offers to help him learn more by taking him to the castle's archives, which is a magnificent library. Haruto is amazed by the wealth of knowledge contained within. Excited, Charlotte quickly selects some books and gives them to Haruto. They sit down and start reading the first book, where Haruto learns about the reactivation of ancient magic. Unlike elemental magic, ancient magic doesn't have specific attributes. This realization leads Haruto to understand that his barrier magic can also be classified as ancient magic. Charlotte mentions that although she struggles with reading, she seeks assistance from Gold, Natalia, or even Flay. She expresses her desire for Haruto's help in learning more. Before Haruto can respond, Charlotte plops herself onto his lap to get a better view of the book. Utilizing his big brother skills, Haruto assists her in reading the book and even shares interesting stories reminiscent of anime. Haruto can't help but complain about the absence of anime in their world, and Charlotte becomes intrigued. Though Haruto struggles to explain, he describes anime as drawings that can move, which Charlotte perceives as a form of magic. Enthusiastic about experiencing it, Charlotte asks Haruto to show her anime. Haruto promises to do his best, igniting his determination to find a way. Driven by his desire to please his sister, Haruto dedicates himself to gaining access to the internet. After 2 weeks of effort, he managed to gain internet access, and his subscription service to Crunchyroll was still active. Excitedly, he shows Charlotte the magical tool, and she uses it to watch her first anime. Witnessing the characters come to life astonishes Charlotte, but she struggles to comprehend the language they speak. Rather than adding subtitles, Haruto takes it upon himself to teach Charlotte the entire Japanese language. Using a language learning course, Charlotte masters the basics in less than 2 hours. With her newfound knowledge, she indulges in anime binge watching for the next 2 weeks. During this time, Charlotte becomes addicted to anime and frequently invades Haruto's room to watch more. Understanding her addiction, Haruto wants to stop her but also wants her to have fun. As the responsible older brother, he sets a limit of 3 hours of TV per day. Though it's still a considerable amount, Charlotte longs to watch anime all day. However, she obeys Haruto's request, and they share quiet meals together at the dinner table. Unfortunately, the strain of watching too much anime leads Charlotte to doze off during dinner, raising concerns from her parents. Natalia questions Haruto about Charlotte's tiredness since she spends all day in his room. Haruto covers for her by claiming they were researching ancient magic. Natalia appreciates their bonding and asks Haruto to continue looking after Charlotte. Later, Gold and his soldiers urgently leave the castle to deal with thieves causing trouble. Natalia bids him farewell and expresses her concern. In Haruto's room, Charlotte's worry for her father overrides her anime addiction. Haruto tries to comfort her, assuring her that Gold can handle the situation. Charlotte ponders why people become thieves, hoping for a world where everyone can live happily without resorting to bad deeds. Although Haruto understands her sentiment, he knows achieving universal happiness is impossible. In Charlotte's eyes, Haruto is the hero of justice, and she suggests he should kill the thieves to protect their father. Playfully, she charms him with her eyes, leaving Haruto with no choice but to assist his dad. Haruto undergoes a transformation, turning into an adult-sized character dressed in a black costume. Reluctantly, Haruto heads to the forest to find the thieves, feeling annoyed at being dragged into unnecessary conflicts. However, he can't disappoint Charlotte, so he activates his surveillance magic to locate them. Once he spots them, he uses his barrier magic to cut off their escape routes. Initially, Haruto contemplates leaving the capture to Gold and his army, but he remembers Charlotte watching him and decides to confront the thieves. Claiming to be the hero of justice, he engages in a fight with them. At first, they underestimate him, thinking he's just a clown, but Haruto teaches them a lesson with his martial arts skills and defeats them. Coincidentally, Gold and his soldiers arrive just as Haruto finishes the fight. Surprised by Haruto's appearance, Gold questions if he defeated all the thieves alone. Haruto hesitates to answer, and Gold thinks he has been rude. Introducing himself, Gold asks for Haruto's name, and Haruto struggles to come up with a response, eventually settling on still pending. Gold assumes Haruto is the hero of justice who previously saved his wife and daughter. Maintaining his persona, Haruto claims to be the hero of justice, and Gold inquiries about his goals. Haruto invents a story about seeking absolute justice, leaving Gold intrigued. Exhausted, Haruto returns to his room, receiving praise from Charlotte for being cool. Though physically drained, he is happy to be the hero in his sister's eyes. The following day, Haruto decides to address Charlotte's overdependence on him. He creates a perfect clone of himself, complete with matching behavior. Impressed by the clone's responses, Haruto attributes his success to studying at the library and utilizing information from the books. Unbeknownst to Haruto, Charlotte is hiding under the bed sheets and witnesses the two identical Harutos. Confused, she wonders which one is the real Haruto. Flay interrupts, asking Haruto to be ready to depart soon, but Haruto decides to delegate the task to his clone. His clone, being just as much of a recluse as him, refuses, so Haruto decides to go himself. Meanwhile, Prince Laius and Princess Marianne visit Gold's castle. Laius complains about the condition of the place, and Marianne reprimands him, urging him to behave. Gold welcomes the royal siblings, expressing his honor at their presence. Laius becomes intrigued by Haruto, noticing his different hair color and assuming he must be adopted. Haruto contemplates whether Laius and Marianne are his true siblings, knowing he also comes from the royal family. Laius tries to assert his superiority as the future king and demands respect. Gold respectfully bows and apologizes if he unintentionally offended him. Marianne tries to rein in Laius's behavior, but he remains stubborn and insults his own sister. Amused by Laius's foolishness, Haruto wonders how someone can be so dense and glares at him. Laius notices and insults Haruto, calling him a two-piece junkie who was adopted from an orphanage. He challenges Haruto to a duel for no reason. Reluctantly, Gold complies with the demands of royalty and arranges the duel. Haruto decides to go easy on Laius and takes a beating. However, Laius demands that Haruto fight back. With a determined spirit, Haruto retaliates and overwhelms Laius. Despite Laius's attempt to use fire magic, Haruto easily counters his attacks. Irritated, Haruto displays a fraction of his true power, threatening to unleash the power of all the fireballs he has harnessed at once. Terrified, Laius admits defeat. Marianne apologizes for her brother's rudeness and expresses curiosity about Haruto's strength, as his stats suggest he should be weak. Amused, Haruto jokingly mentions being the main character, knowing it would explain his strength. This is where our tale temporarily concludes. Feel free to comment if you're interested in following more of this exciting series. Thanks for your time. If you stayed until the end, please like and subscribe for more animazing recaps.